What is up guys, Andy Forestine Runner here, and today is the rematch, today is revenge, today we get our own back on Matt Rees. Today is going to be Wales 1, England 1. Today we are taking on the hills, 10 miles, around 900 foot of elevation, me versus Matt once again. Okay, so welcome to another race day. I'm super excited. 10 miles on the hills this morning. I've come out of earshot from Matt so he can't hear my tactics or my predictions. I'm going to give you my predictions. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to run the race today, and we'll see how it pans out. We're both going to be taking our GoPros, so you'll get a first person perspective view today, which is going to be epic. So both of our videos will have different footage in them, which is super cool. I just have to say I appreciate all your support. The rematch is happening because of you. 250 of you voted on Instagram, 96% wanted a rematch. And of those 96%, 91% of you out of 9% wanted hills over a 5k rematch. I appreciate that. So although I'm going into this, I'm not going to say the favourite, I'm going to say it's a good 50-50 split. I think you all knew last time that Matt is a quicker runner than me, and despite him coming back from injury, he's got it in the tank, he really does. But I've been doing a lot of hill training, 14,000 foot of elevation, 78 miles over the last 8 days I've done. So, you know, the hills, they're my friends at the moment, but do not underestimate this man. He rocks up at the Forest of Dean Autumn Half Marathon, I think last year or the year before, I think it was last year, and came like second or third in a ridiculous time. So I know he has got it in him. So predictions, how is the race going to pan out? Well, I think Matt is going to use the flats to his advantage. So we're starting on a flat and a downhill. I think he's going to go off rather quickly and he's going to gap me from the off. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to the bottom of the first hill and I'm 400, 600, 800 meters behind him, barely seeing him. I wouldn't be surprised. If he sits on my shoulder and we're relatively close, 100, 200 meters between each other, I think that would be a bad mistake on his part. I'm not saying that I will absolutely obliterate him on the hills, but I think that I could start to gap him early on. I think what I have to do is just be patient today, and when I hit each hill, and there are 4 key hills in this, I have to work the hills and I have to work them well, because that's my chance to put some daylight between me and him. We come back and finish on the finishing straight if there is not 100 meter gap, at least, ideally 200 meters, but if there's not a big gap between me and him, by that time he will obliterate me to the finish. He's got that flat speed, I need a gap, and that's a last half-mile sprint. It's going to be hard. Those are my thoughts, those are my predictions. We will see how we go today. This is how professional he is. I'm filming on a GoPro and he has some Canon thing. Give us some predictions today. I know you're confident. Give me your tactics. No, don't give me your tactics. Okay, first of all, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing the ENDORPHIN Speed
versus Pro. That's a good matchup today.
Yeah, I don't need a plate too stiff on the trails. They're black so they won't get absolutely destroyed. They're light, fast, and they feel good to run in.
That is a very good choice. He's made a good choice from the start. Any final words? Come on.
I'm pretty speechless.
Come on. Give me some fight talk.
Just as long as I don't get lost, it's in the bag, really, isn't it?
Oh, confidence. We shall see about that. There he goes. Just coming to 10 miles. I've lost again. Went out too hard. Gapped him. Put a good fair few meters on him on the first couple of hills. And paid the price. He caught me up at mile 5, sat with me, and he's kicked on the last hill. And I've got absolutely nothing in the tank. Fair play, mate. Scored again. I lost again. I can't even beat him on the hills. God, I'm useless. Wales 0, England 2. Ran an incredible time though. What is that? 1 hour, 6:01 average pace. Over 900 foot of climbing. 1:02:15. 10.36 miles. Not bad. So there we go. We are with the victor again. Wales 2. England 0. I'm just not challenging anymore, but that was a solid run. I got to take my hat off to him. I went out way too hard, pushed it on the first couple of hills, and he was just sensible. He just sat there, used his strengths on the straights and downs, caught me back up, sat with me, and then on that last hill, you saw in the footage, he was gone like an absolute lightning bolt, as he always is in that last bit. How did that feel?
Really, really tough. I had loads of doubts when you put such a gap into me. At about mile 3, you just went. And I looked at my heart rate, and despite you being about 50 meters ahead, my heart rate was 184, which is like 5k heart rate. So I had to slow down, and then I was starting to worry, but I knew that if I just could get rolling on the downhills, that I could close the gap. And I just hoped that I could catch you up by the second big hill.
There was enough ups and downs there to work to both of our strengths, and I think basically Matt just played it a little bit more sensible, worked to his strengths far more than I did. I should have probably taken the first hill a little bit easier and then worked the second and third hill so that by the fourth hill I had a little bit less, but I think I left everything out on the hills anyway. It was a good workout. As I said, sub 6 minute mile pace, 5:59 I think it came up on my watch. Over 10.
Huge run.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly,
you wouldn't dream of doing that 10 mile
Unreal.
tempo like that on your own. That's
Unreal.
Insane running.
Unreal. So, what can I say? I'm not challenging him anymore. He's the winner. End of series. Job done. We go. Race done. Oh my goodness! I failed again. How do I keep letting him beat me? Oh, he's just too good. He's too good. Remind me never to let him challenge me again. So just to give you a quick recap, because the video won't tell the full story, it was flipping epic. We went out like crazy fast, 5:38, 5:45 first couple of miles, and we both were kind of like, ooh, this is a bit hot. So we hit the first hill. We kind of went out the first hill together. Right at the top of that hill, I just put a tiny gap on him as we kind of went around the corner, and as I came down the hill to then go up the next hill, I put a bit more of a gap on him. I wasn't turning around. Matt reckons it was about 30 or 40 meters ish. So there was a good gap there. I was feeling strong. I was feeling good. I was like, I've got to use these hills to my advantage. Surprisingly, he didn't bolt out like I thought he would and gap me straight away. He sat with me. He's stronger than he makes out. He really is. Don't believe what he says on social media. He is a flipping demon. So we got to the top of that hill. I still had that distance, but then I knew the next section was going to be dicey because it was a couple of switchbacks and it was runnable. And lo and behold, Matt caught me up at that point. So I heard him coming up behind me, put a bit of a surge in, sat with me. We ran the third hill together, kind of yo-yoing side by side. And then we basically kind of came up and down around the corner. 8.5 miles in, that's when I rolled my ankle. It didn't make a dot of difference, I just have to say, because it's throbbing a little bit now, but the race was lost by that point, to be honest with you anyway, because I said to you guys in the beginning, if I'm not 100 meters ahead of him at the top of the final hill, then it's game over. And he was ahead of me by the bottom of that hill, and actually he had it in him. He had it in him at the bottom of that hill to completely obliterate me up that last hill. So although I kind of held my own in the most of the race, he was just sensible, playing it safe, playing it cool. He says that his heart rate was quite high in the first couple of hills, so he had to back off. That's fair enough. But he, you know, that's a sensible thing to do. He raced well, again, got to the final straight, and he, oh, I don't know, he must have finished about 20-30 seconds ahead of me, which was a shame because I wanted it to be a lot closer than it was. We were neck and neck for 9 miles of it, but that last mile, once again, he showed his absolute class. I can't knock him as much as I'm frustrated. He's such a good runner, and it's a pleasure. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is series over. I cannot do another one. If that was going to be 1-1, there would have been a series finale, but as it is, there is not a series finale. He's won 2-0, hands down, fair and square. I hope you've enjoyed the banter. I hope you've enjoyed the racing. It's been great fun, and my series turned itself on for some reason. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Until then,